Hello, my name is Exabu, and this is Unity of Command 2 Barbarossa DLC Dnieper Crossings mission on hard. 3, 2, 1. Right, so this is one of the least favorite, one of my least favorite missions of this entire DLC. Primarily, actually, it has very strong vibes of the traditional game design that went into Unity of Command, largely one, and mostly because you have these very early turn 1 objectives like the Kherson Bridge, or Kherson Bridge, which sometimes, yes, kind of require you to get very nice rolls. And one of the biggest problems there, so it's guarded by one enemy unit. If it retreats into Kherson Bridge, you're screwed. If it retreats to Kherson, you're not screwed. And sometimes the force recon ability kind of helps because it allows you to, well, avoid any stragglers. And I kind of managed. I still had some movement points, but to be honest, I just did Kherson Bridge and just saved the game, and just so that I don't have to repeat it. Also, as you can see, my Panzergruppe 1 units are somewhat weak. Guess why? The reason is that all of these Panzergruppe 1 units are leftovers from the Ukraine mission, which we did yesterday. And yes, it was a pretty nasty battle. I lost quite a lot. I lost at least one tank division fully. And so, yeah, so my Panzergruppe 1 units were pretty weak compared to what I had in Classic. On Classic, and yes, and even on Classic, it's not super easy. But the points about, thankfully, by the way, but Kherson Bridge, it's like you take it, and the Soviets are not gonna give you any trouble there. So just make sure you keep the hex. I'd say the most difficult parts of the missions, Cherkasy is very easy, so the guys are just gonna leave, just give them enough set-piece attacks, and they'll just run away. Case in point, as you can see. So, Dnipropetrovsk, Dnipro Bridge, I think, at least on hard, is the most difficult part of this entire scenario, because, as you can see, the Soviets have a lot of troops in there, and they will bring in reinforcements as well. So, one like these... These cavalry divisions are pretty nasty, and the thing is that I didn't have very strong divisions, right? So Dnipropetrovsk is mine, a turn ahead, and this actually a very good illustration of what we saw in the Gates of Moscow, where if you have a very difficult objective, like where the Soviets will try to counterattack and try to retake it, always try to take it a turn earlier, like what I did in Narofomensky and the Gates of Moscow, where the deadline is turn 3 and I did it on turn 2. Okay, so the Soviets kicked you out, but it took them lots and lots of losses to actually took you out, and the guy that entered the hex and now guarding it is not entrenched, it's probably weaker, and you have a much better chance of actually kicking new units out and retaking the objective. And next time, the Soviets are probably not going to have enough forces to take it back, right? So that's actually used the strategy here, because Dnipro Bridge gave me a lot of trouble. Because my units were not great, and I actually had to probably replay this mission, completely restart it, because I got incredibly unlucky with the weather on turn 1 and my initial attempt at this mission. Right, so Dnipro Bridge is mine. Yeah, it looks kind of secure, but it isn't. You will see that on turn 3, the Soviets, as you can see, the Soviets have 3 cavalry divisions, and they will be able to concentrate their forces and kind of kick me out from Dnipro Bridge. And well, yeah, they'll be kind of take give and take somewhere, like for a little bit, as I explained. So this really in. On hard, this becomes a very important. And by the way, look at that gambit I did in Berislav Bridge. So, cross the river next to Berislav Bridge. Don't do assault crossing. Cross the river next to it. Next to that objective, next to that Soviet division. And attack them normally, or via the ground, right? Because you just get better chances, better chances of forcing them to retreat, and actually generally the loss predictions are much better for you. And here's the Soviets kicking me out of Dnieper Bridge. So far not succeeding, but they've got plenty of troops in here, and, well, eventually my tank will retreat. And so, as you can see, by the way, I've got another prong of attack rushing towards Kremenchug. And it's critical that you devote a couple of divisions, and by the way, I'm using that SS motorized division that belongs to the Heeresgruppe Süd to also rush through Kremenchug, because you can't actually use the river crossing ability on motorized divisions. They have to be proper infantry or cavalry. Obviously, they count as infantry in this game generally. And so, yeah. And I'm also using my infantry to cross that big river, Dnieper, and already start converging on Kremenchug, because, well, next turn, I think it was turn 5 to which is the deadline for taking Kremenchug, and I really need units next to the city so that I can properly bombard it, maybe use a set-piece attack, even though I'm not entirely sure if it's not within range. The unit next to it is probably not within range for using any HQ abilities because of the river. And as you can see, so I've retaken Dnieper Bridge. The Soviets at this point, even after their little counteroffensive, they won't be able to do anything, because all of their units are pretty weak at this point, and they simply don't have the chances of properly kicking me out. So the best thing they can do actually is trying to block my supply lines, and it's not going to work. And by the way, as you can see, I've blocked quite a number of bridges, actually 3 bridges. So pontoon bridges as soon as I could on turn 1. I probably couldn't have done it on both of them on turn 1. But all 3 of them on turn 1, but it's critical that you can do all those pincer maneuvers around Dnieper Bridge, and also move some forces, maybe just 1 tank division, maybe some more, towards Kremenchug, well, across the river there, like across that swampy forested area towards Kremenchug. It's critical that you do that. Sometimes, yeah, it can get pretty hairy, and I found that, like with Dnieper Bridge, doing that pincer maneuver, trying to pretty much encircle those units holding Dnipropetrovsk there, it's the best idea. It's the best way of doing it, because you can actually generally another option here is setting up a bridge west of Dnieper Bridge and Dnipropetrovsk, and yeah, having a bridge there. But the problem there is that you can't set up many bridges. Like in the east, you can hold 1 hex that faces a number of other hexes, and you set up different bridges, so that actually it's rather difficult for the Soviets to block all of those bridges. If you can only build a bunch of bridges leading into the same hex, the Soviets only need to send only 1 unit into that hex, and they're blocking you and forcing you to use assault crossing, which is, well, not perfect. And as you can see, I have taken Kremenchug. I had enough forces to kick the Soviets out of the city. All the rest of the objectives are mine, and I'm guessing, yeah, so they're not, they're completely incapable of counterattacking in Dnieper Bridge at all, and so, yeah, the mission is over. There's not much else to tell you, and because this is the penultimate mission of this entire series, not just because of it, I'll see you tomorrow for the last mission we'll cover in the series, which is Dvinazimyansk, and I'm guessing until tomorrow.